Dear Professor, you are the Dean of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia. Tell us a bit about your health communication classes that you offer your students.
Sure. We offer a full range of health communications classes, mostly taken by our advertising and public relations students. They start with a digital media strategies class, move on to health communication campaigns and promotions classes. One of the things that distinguishes the program is that all of our classes at the more advanced levels are client-facing classes. So the classes team up with nonprofit and for-profit health organizations or health campaigns in the Northeast Georgia area where we're located, and they work on behalf of clients in which they run campaigns for them. So it's very hands-on, and the students definitely get practical experience in running health information campaigns.
At the level of Georgia State, for example, can you observe if the health communication is improved?
I think it's improved. Maybe a better word is it's improving. There's still a lot of challenges. Whether it's smoking cessation, teenage pregnancy, drug and alcohol use, we face the same issues that people the world over face from a health perspective. And part of that is learning to be expert in targeting messaging at the appropriate audiences on the appropriate platforms. So we do a lot of work now on digital platforms. Social media strategy is big in the college, and we are training our students to engage populations in digital strategies like never before.
There are very many online and social media sources for health-related information, as you said. How do we establish if the information we can find online on a website is trustworthy? What are the characteristics of a credible source for health-related information?
That's a great question. And it's one of the things that's really challenging, I think, health communicators is the fact that we are awash in all of these sources, some of them official and institutional, some of them quite dubious. Let's talk about vaccinations, for example. We've had quite a struggle in the United States, and of course people around the world have had quite the struggle with anti-vaccination rumors out there, much of them populated on social media networks. And I think the way you combat that is through partnerships with credible institutions. So whether it's the Centers for Disease Control or the state health department, you have to have partners that are recognizable brands that health consumers can see and trust that information has been vetted and that it's coming not from some random person on a social network, but that it's coming from, the state health department or a local hospital. Those brands become, especially those trusted brands, become very important.
What is the most urgent problem that needs to be regulated when it comes to health journalism?
There's a lot, but I think one of the primary challenges that we have is anonymous, rumor-based fear-mongering, for lack of a better term, out there. And I don't know if there's any way to regulate it. I mean, it's out there on Twitter and Facebook, and it's very hard to chase because it tends to pop up out of the ground like mushrooms, and as soon as you tamp down one rumor, another one comes up. So you end up playing this endless game of chase, really, trying to fight bad information with good information. And I think that's almost all the news media can do, is serve as the vetting resource for the public and point them to credible sources of information and attack incredible sources of information.
Do you think it is politically incorrect to force parents to vaccinate their children?
I don't. Personally, I think compulsory vaccination, while incredibly controversial, I understand that, it's one of those issues where the greater good is served in a utilitarian sense by making sure that all of our children are vaccinated against the things that will harm us all. If a significant enough portion of the population decides to take a pass on vaccination, then that ends up harming everybody in the society. And we've seen it, here, there, and everywhere. We've seen anti-vaccination movements reach a point where they're beginning to threaten the public health system. So I think it's one of those situations where for the greater good, we have to make a collective decision. Are we going to allow people to set out something that's going to endanger millions of other people? It doesn't seem like one of those situations where personal liberty trumps societal good.
Do you think it's absolutely necessary to force the parents to vaccinate their children?
In some settings with some drugs, my understanding is that if we don't vaccinate everybody, we're not vaccinating anybody. And so I think where we fall into that situation, measles, rubella, these strains that can mutate and cross borders with ease, then lowering our guard even a little bit is really the same thing as lowering our guard completely.
Dear Professor, thank you for the interview.
Oh, you're very welcome.